I mean, what are your thoughts on charity for public perception?
I think it's nice to donate to charity, and I think, hey, if you get positive press for it, then, like, whatever. It's just a symptom of it. It's not necessarily that you're begging for it. Maybe you do want to, like, you know, donate to kids with cancer, but, like, obviously the good press comes with it because you're doing a good thing. But my issue is not necessarily with, like, publicizing it, but when you use it as a defense. Like, for example, with iDubbbz and Creator Clash, mostly just the people around him, not really iDubbbz in particular, but, like, Aniza and Harley from Epic Mealtime and, you know, Alana Pierce, who's fighting, and, like, a bunch of the other fighters on Twitter. They're using it as, like, a defense. Like, when the whole Froggy Fresh thing was going down, they're like, don't refund your tickets because you're gonna take money away from charity and stuff. They were really, like, guilt-tripping people with it and using it. Like, people make constructive criticisms, and then they just use charity as an automatic shield. I don't like it being used in that way. And the way iDubbbz did it, too, with the whole, like, oh, all the profits are going to charity. You're putting on an expensive event, and it costs a lot of money. Obviously, there's no guarantee you're gonna make a profit, and that's what ended up happening. He actually made a loss, and no money ended up going to charity. There should have just been, like, a donation link, I guess, for, like, people to crowdfund, or it should have been done in, like, a different way. And then people won't feel like, oh, because I'm not buying Creator Clash, I'm not supporting the charity. Like, they could have just donated directly to it and then, like, not bought the ticket, but just wanted to, like, support the charity. I don't know. There's, like, so many better ways they could have went about it. I feel like the reason he added charity to it was to look better than these other boxing matches, because when he first did Creator Clash 1 and talked about all of that, like, he really drove home that it was, like, for charity, especially with this promotion of Creator Clash 2. And, he was mocking, like, other boxing promotions, like Keemstars and, like, the ones Jake Paul and KSI were doing, and, was trying to act like he was better than all of them. Meanwhile, someone like Mr. Beast, who does publicize a lot of his donations and stuff, he just does his shit and moves on. He doesn't, like, create drama around it, like, oh, I'm better than these other events. Like, literally for promoting Creator Clash 2, he put up this chart of, like, the Austin McBroom fights and these other fights and how they don't donate to charity and how his does, and, like, there was, like, this whole chart. Donate to charity, promote your fight for donating to charity, all that's cool, but are you really gonna promote your fight and, like, make the big push, like, hey, it's better just because we're donating to charity and other people aren't?
I agree. I mean, regardless of what your intention is, charity is obviously, you know, a great thing, assuming that the charity is doing something good for the world. But I don't think publicly putting what you're doing for charity out there into the world, I don't think that makes you a good person automatically.
Yeah, I don't think that makes you a good person either automatically. Like, donating to charity is something anyone can do. Someone can be, like, a horrible piece of shit. Use the most extreme example, and I'm not comparing
Bill Cosby.
Obviously.
Bill Cosby.
Like, Bill Cosby or, like, Jeffrey Epstein or any of these rich people who do horrible things. They could, like, easily just toss some money over to charity and bada bing, bada boom. Good person? Not really.
I'm pretty sure Harvey Weinstein used to do a lot for charity.
And it's great for the charities. Like, I'm glad he did that, but it doesn't take away from the other things. Just like how the fact that iDubbbz is donating to charity doesn't take away from how he mismanaged the Froggy Fresh situation or any other criticism you may have for him. And they're literally using it as a defense. Like, Aniza the other day, after this recent drama with not making a profit on Creator Clash 2, she tweeted out, "Imagine creating drama around charity. You must be a piece of shit for doing that." And I'm like, iDubbbz literally created drama around charity, not only when he kicked Froggy Fresh, but also when he started Creator Clash, and when he promoted Creator Clash 2 by saying that he's better than these other boxing promotions because he is going to charity, creating drama and conflict between the two organizations when they didn't even have to be, like, related. He didn't even need to mention the other influencer boxing and how he's better than it or whatever. He could have just done his own thing. He created drama around it, and now Aniza's, because other people are covering on the drama that iDubbbz created, she's like, well, it's crazy that you guys are creating drama around charity. You guys are such bad people because we're donating to charity and you're creating drama around it and reporting on it.
I think there's a key distinction that needs to be made with the Creator Clash stuff that isn't really made that often, which is, like, there's a difference between, like, donating money and raising money.
Yeah.
You know? Which, same thing.
True.
Same thing I said earlier still applies. Where, you know, I do think regardless it's a net positive on the world, but I'm not gonna look at that and be like, now this guy's a good person.
Yeah, I feel like the way iDubbbz did the charity thing is in the most, like, non-charitable way possible, which sounds a little shitty to say because they did raise a lot of money with Creator Clash 1 and they aren't making a personal profit off of it, but, like, all of the donations are fan funded. He's not donating his own penny to the charities at all, except with the 50K to the Froggy Fresh charity, but that only happened because of the drama, and that's not typical for the event. Like, if the event went as planned, like it did with Creator Clash 1, he's not donating any money to charity. He's donating his time and stuff and everything to, like, make this event possible. But ultimately, it's fan-funded. And it's not even, like, 100% fan-funded, because the fans fund the event that he's putting on, right? And then they fund the charity. So, until they break even, the fans aren't even funding for charity. They're funding his event, which makes it more capitalistic and profitable, right? He's not paying for the event out of his own pocket. He's getting the fans to pay for the event, and then any extra money that he makes from the fans goes to charity. So he's not actually financially, well, with this recent thing, he has been financially suffering because he fucked up and all that. But ideally, he's not even, like, losing any money. He's just not making any, which is still, like, charitable, but it's not the most charitable, you know what I'm saying?
I agree. I mean, I think also there's ways in which he could potentially make money off of Creator Clash that aren't directly from the event itself. So, you know, because like we were talking about earlier, you know, all press is good press. I think ultimately, if he was still putting out good content, which he's not right now, if he was, he would have made a lot of money off of that Froggy Fresh situation, just individually, by getting people to know that he's relevant again. Maybe you could go check out his channel, etc. So there's other ways to monetize certain things. Basically monetizing attention.
Yeah, for sure. There's like a ton of ways that iDubbbz could have made money, but he decided to focus all of his attention on doing this thing that isn't going to make any profit.
The iDubbbz thing is weird, man. Obviously, I'm going to have a lot to say in my next video about him, but I don't know, man. I feel bad for the dude a little bit.
The financial decisions he made for Creator Clash 2 were not smart at all. Like, if you're going to make an event where you need to break even, and any money you make past breaking even will be going to charity, and your top priority is charity, you would want to make the event with the least amount of money required possible in order to raise the most money for charity.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but they also were going under the premise that they were going to make as much as they did last year.
Yeah, which is stupid.
Which was dumb because the card from the first event compared to the second is night and day.
And also, like, the novelty of it, of, like, YouTubers fighting and stuff will wear off over time, and there's a bunch of things why that's stupid, but let's assume they made the same amount of money. Even with that in mind, why would you reduce the money going to charity in order to have, like, a gala, for example, right? Like, wouldn't you still want it, even if you knew it would be, like, just as successful or more successful, wouldn't you want to minimize costs as much as possible in order to have charities profit as much as possible, if that is really the goal of the event, which is what they say. They really heavily promoted that it was all for charity.
And all this raw entertainment had one purpose in mind.
It's one of the few things that I've done that's not driven by money.
I love that.
This is for a good cause.
We're here because of some great charities that I know you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
None of this was to put money in anyone's pocket. It was to put on an entertaining thing to raise money for charity.
The Creator Clash also donated a lot of their proceeds to charity. I'm not exactly sure how much.
Over $1 million for charity, so.
Badass.
Yes.
All the profits are going to charity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there like a payday in the future you guys are working towards?
No, not really.
And now we got to do it to help other people?
yeah. You can't do your get the bag fight. Sorry, Phil.
I also did this for money. I ain't gonna lie. Just keeping it real.
So what's the allure of doing a boxing match like this?
Money.
I mean, yeah, I do agree. You should want to minimize costs, assuming that it is all for charity. I don't know how they could have messed up the card that bad. That's the biggest problem, is the card itself. No offense to X, Y, and Z person, but like, I don't know who the fuck Abelina Sabrina is, or like Hundar. Again, maybe these people are famous, but if
They're not.
If I don't know these people, then I know there's a lot of other people out there that don't know these people.
I will say that over 50% of the fighters, you with your channel and your size and your views, you probably get more views per month on YouTube than they do.
Fuck.
Unironically.
Fuck.
Like,
That's horrible.
their like Creator Clash promo videos have under 10K. A lot.
Yeah, I mean, even Alex Wasabi, his video promoting Creator Clash before the event had like 50K. The main card was whack, bro. It was the same as last year, where if you know anything about the guy that Ian is boxing, you already knew he was gonna get the fuck beaten out of him.
Yeah, he keeps picking these super challenging fights, which I guess is admirable and brave.
I don't think so.
But it's also like boring.
I don't think it's admirable at all. I think it's stupid. If
well,
you
that's what
fight,
people would argue.
But like Bull
I
Blacks,
agree, but...
like if you know what I look like and you know what you look like, it wouldn't make sense for you to want to fight me, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I wouldn't call you stupid for that. I don't think that's admirable if you were to have chosen to fight me. You know what I'm saying? Like, what about that is admirable? If you know...
I guess that I have the balls to get beaten up, but, I mean...
That's not a good thing. Like, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
I don't know. That's what other people would argue. I don't necessarily subscribe to...
I think it's better than taking someone who you know you would beat the crap out of, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. You would want to find, like, an even match, or maybe a match that maybe even is a little harder for you, but not by, like, a margin that where it's like, oh, there's a 5% chance I'll win.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Alex Wasabi is a great boxer. I mean, did you see the fight?
I wasn't really paying attention. Someone was, like, streaming it in Discord, but I was, like, doing something else and wasn't really paying attention.
Dude, you didn't even watch the fight? Holy shit.
Not really. I just wanted to see, like, all the other stuff that was happening for anything that I would need to cover in a YouTube video. For me, the biggest, most important moment was when John Morrison said he got paid a bag to do it.
That's how you knew.
Which, by the way, you would also minimize payouts to fighters if you were trying to maximize profit for charity. But again, he just kept overspending on, like, literally everything.
So it's kind of like an issue of basically everything. You know he's going to get beat up in the main card. The undercard is not that interesting to the average person. They're terrible at marketing. Nobody would have known the event even was taking place if it weren't for Froggy Fresh. I genuinely think that 50% number would have been like, you know how they got to 50% of last year? That would have been like 20%, bro.
I think so too. I don't know if it'd be that low, but I think it'd be like 25K or 30K pay-per-views for sure, yeah. There's like no marketing around it. Like, I marketed it more through my videos than any of the individual fighters. I've made more Creator Clash 2 videos than any of the individual people involved. Yeah, some fighters made 0 videos on it, and that's unacceptable.
You should be kicked off if you do that. 0. Yeah. Certain people that were on the card, they don't have followings that it's even worth promoting on their platform, which is a problem in and of itself, because it's not a professional boxing fight. Like, it's supposed to be between people that people care about.
The biggest problem is, like, iDubbbz over the years with, like, the lack of content he's been making and the lack of growth he's been having, not just because of his controversies, but even, like, before then, like, people are just not watching his videos as much if you look at the views and stuff. I just don't think he knows what the audience wants to see, so he set up, like, a bad card, or I guess Aniza set up a bad card, because I think she was taking credit for it, but, you know, iDubbbz doesn't have any issues with it, so it's kind of also on him, because he could have easily just said, hey, Aniza, we need to find more, like, relevant people. And then also the creators that they have on are, like, creators that are, like, really well connected between each other and are kind of like veterans. Like, everybody knows Harley from Epic Mealtime because he used to be the top 3 YouTube channel like a decade ago, right? So, like, he is really well connected with a bunch of creators, but, like, he's not really well connected, like, with viewers right now. Like, not many people watch Epic Mealtime or anything like that. And that's kind of the same to everybody else with a lesser extent. So even they won't know, like, what the audience wants to see or how to promote it. And I think it failed because these guys are just not tapped in with their audience. Like, guarantee if all these creators started a new YouTube channel from scratch and nobody knew who they were previously, maybe, like, 2 of them would get, like, monetized with 1,000 subs and enough views for that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, imagine if Ian were, like, making the same videos he does now on a channel with 0 subs.
It would get no views. No one would care.
0 views, bro. 0.
Yeah.
Like, where he's just being depressed in front of a camera.
Yeah, or even, like, it's more, like, I guess, like, average videos that aren't talking about drama where he's, like, doing the life tier list. It's not really funny or interesting what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that one was a little bit of a step up compared to, like, the Toy Popper videos. I hate watch that whole video to make my video. And I didn't think it was as bad as, like Ants on a Log. That shit was garbage.
I have not seen that. It's not about them being necessarily bad. Like, they could be fine videos people enjoy, videos people put a like on, but is it something that will pop off in the algorithm? Like, if this was uploaded to a new channel, would he gain an audience? I don't think so. I could not see iDubbbz with his current videos if he made it on a new channel, and like minus all the drama, because he wouldn't make the drama videos if he had a new channel, like, because that wouldn't exist. That'd be retcon. I don't think he'd crack 10K subs, honestly.
You don't think he could crack 10K?
With a new channel, with his new videos, minus all the drama shit, and his name is not iDubbbz.
Yeah, you're right.
If he did it now, obviously he could, because people would be like, oh, this is iDubbbz's secret channel, and sub because of that. But if he didn't have that, like, no.
I agree with what you're saying to a certain extent. If he didn't already have like the built-in reputation, I don't think he'd be anywhere even near the quality. The biggest problem with him is that he doesn't even try half as hard anymore in his new videos than he did in the past.
This isn't about like content cop or whatever, because he put a lot of effort into his like post content cop, post edgy phase era videos. Like even the Sam Hyde one, like I don't agree with everything he's saying in those videos, but that Sam Hyde video was well made, and that's when he was like in his like libtard quote unquote mode. So it's not about us wanting to see him say the N-word again. He just needs to put effort in again.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, dude, I don't think anyone wants him to like make content. I mean, maybe people do want him to make content cops, but I think the percentage of people that literally want him to just say the N-word again is like less than 1%.
I agree,
like,
fully.
Dude, I literally criticized him in my video for excessive usage of the N-word, and people still commented like, you just want him to say the N-word.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's just like the automatic defense. That's what I don't like about like the responses that iDubbbz and these other people give. Well, not iDubbbz in particular, because he's actually been doing an okay job trying to be transparent, but a lot of these iDubbbz defenders in particular, like his wife and like his fans and stuff, are just like, oh, it's for charity, if you attack it, you're bad, or oh, you just want him to say the N-word again. They're like not even like engaging with the arguments. It's insane.
It's like,
or like the logic behind it.
I'm criticizing him for saying the N-word, but I also want him to say it at the same time. That totally makes sense.
They didn't watch the video, they just commented. There's no way the people who said that actually watched the video. They're like, fall of iDubbbz or whatever? Oh, I guess he just wants them to make content cops and say the N-word again. Like, what?
Yeah. It would be impossible for him to make a content cop in 2023, because they can just play this video.
Cause Anissa's not your girl. She's our girl. She's everyone's girl. I know you live in a small world, but see out here, she makes everyone her. And I don't really know much about it.
I love how Froggy's little Twitter songs are more entertaining than anything iDubbbz uploaded in the past year. Like, he makes these in like 2 seconds. Well, I'm sure it takes like longer, maybe like 5-10 minutes or whatever on Twitter. And it's infinitely more like entertaining than Ants on a Log.
She's our girl. Bro, yeah, you're right.
She's everyone's girl. He's so talented with singing, too. And the lyrics don't sound like they're kind of shoehorned in, I guess, for the situation. But the lyrics actually are pretty, like, decently flowing for, like, how specific they are.
Yeah, he definitely made that shit in, like, 10 minutes, though.
He has talent, for sure.
He does. He's a good singer. And a good boxer, too. But...
well, we haven't seen him box. We won't know.
Nobody ever talks about how jacked Froggy got before his fight.
He did get so jacked, because before he was just like an average dude. He literally transformed himself and put all this time in just for this to happen. If they kicked Froggy fresh, like maybe like a week into the announcement of Creator Clash 2 happening, and it was like months off and he barely started training, I would still be critical, but I wouldn't nearly be as critical as I am when kicking him 3 weeks out. That's really cruel, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, I think that's one of the most nasty things you can do to someone.
More nasty than calling him the N-word. I bet Froggy would have preferred being called the N-word than that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't think people know how long it takes to look like the way Froggy did. How much effort you have to put into it.
Yeah, he was like grinding for all those months for training. He wasn't just like exercising and gradually getting up to that point. He was speedrunning to get to that point, dude.
Yeah, and then they get this guy, William Haynes. It just beats the fuck out of Chris.
Who also on Twitter recently called Froggy a Nazi. You want those type of toxic people in your fucking event, but not Froggy because he said that Sam Hyde is cool and you think he's more toxic? It's just so stupid.
What do you think about Sam Hyde?
I think that he's a really good friend to a lot of people. He doesn't seem to screw over people, but he does say things that are worth criticizing for sure. He doesn't seem like a super malicious guy. He seems like a dick sometimes, but he doesn't seem like someone who would like screw over someone. Like he seems true to his word. I have a average to maybe positive view of him, but also I don't really know his full history. People said he donated to like Nazis or whatever, which is kind of bad. Well, not kind of bad, pretty bad, but from what I've seen personally, he seems to be a better person than Ian. So there's that.
When I watched the iDubbbz Sam Hyde documentary, I didn't like either of them going into it. I had to watch both of them to make my video. The way it came out of it was like, this is basically like a fucking advertisement for this guy Sam Hyde. If you really pay attention to that documentary that Ian made, dude, this guy is like an idiot. Like, he's at one point, he has to explain irony, which is just insane.
Oh yeah, like the meta irony wheel or whatever.
He's like, oh, because I do meta-irony, I cannot be criticized ever. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? If you compare these two people, just objectively, no bias, it's like not even close as to who's more entertaining, who can make better content. If you compare the two documentaries, even though the quality of Ian's was way better, Sam's was more entertaining because they had that whole section on like, we made this Google Doc on how to gaslight iDubbbz. And he's like wheezing while reading it, and it's just like the funniest shit ever. I don't know if I said this earlier, but I think the biggest problem with Ian is that he's anti-consumer. Like, he doesn't focus on the fans. When Sam spent that 15 grand on trolling iDubbbz, that was for the fans. I'm gonna rent this car so we can have a bit in the documentary, treat it like a Ferrari, iDubbbz.
And then when iDubbbz spends money, it's for himself and his fellow creators, like a gala. How does that help the fans?
Exactly. I feel like iDubbbz, from my perspective, it seems like he's more focused on self-interest, which is fine. You should be focused on your best interest. But if you stay more focused on the viewers first, the money will come with that. The old Ian was a great example of that, where he just focused on making good videos, nothing else. He ended up making, even though I don't like them, it's a lot of good videos. Like, videos that people enjoyed a lot. Like, I don't know if you know this, but like, Ian didn't initially release the documentary for like 9 months.
Yeah.
You knew that?
I know that.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that. And it's clear to see why, because, as you said, it's an advertisement for Sam. Like, he looked bad in it after recording it. He probably scrapped it once he got home.
He did. He definitely
from the
did.
Trip.
He definitely did. And you could see he did well at the end with, like, the post-production and the irony stuff. He did okay, but I don't know, man.
And that's about it for our discussion about iDubbbz and Creator Clash 2. In the next episode, we are going to talk about Kick, Rumble, and Pokimane. So if you don't want to miss that, be sure to subscribe with notifications on. And if you just can't wait to hear our discussion continue, you can get access to the full podcast right now by becoming a channel member. I also have other more typical videos for this channel, like Twitterverses, coming up very soon. So if you missed those, don't worry, they're on the way, although I appreciate you watching these videos as well, and I hope you look forward to the next one. Don't forget to try out the Pikmin 4 demo on Switch, and with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.